We fucking adore you. You are our light.
And then there was also Beyonce and Jay-Z at the table.
Right.
Which, I mean, they're the king and queen of America.
They are.
You got to meet Jay-Z and Beyonce?
Yeah, so I did not expect to see them in, in the flesh. I wasn't expecting that at all. I was just like...
I definitely want to say thank you to Beyonce.
Beyonce shows me what you can create when you give your all and you make space.
Beyonce and Jay-Z have the largest fan base to date. They intrigue many by being selective with what they share. But with age comes wisdom, and I'm learning two things. The first, no celebrity, influencer, or person of fame or status can be apolitical. They're either silent or removed from politics, willing to face the backlash that comes with it, or they can be vocal in politics and face the backlash that comes with it. Trust and believe, though, either decision is mostly always financially motivated. And the second is that no person that is a billionaire with a B can be so without exploiting or stealing from those less fortunate. As Black artists with longevity in all that success, we are selective with our outrage towards J and B, but it's time to hold them accountable. Let's take a closer look into their income. But first, let's start with Beyonce.
You are Beyonce.
Thank you.
And
Beyonce has produced 8 studio albums, performed 10 solo tours, and has been nominated for over 750 awards. As of 2024, her solo net worth was determined to be $826 million. She makes at least 2/3 of this income from touring. In 2025, she made reportedly $400 million from her Cowboy Carter tour alone. She found a way to further maneuver more money from the tours in 2019 with the $60 million Netflix partnership that includes 3 projects at $20 million each. She has dropped 2 so far. The first, her Coachella homecoming performance in 2019, where Coachella paid an additional $8 to $12 million, and the NFL special in 2024. That's an additional $70 million to record her performances and stream them, y'all. Just to stream them. What she couldn't get from Netflix, she got in theaters, screening her Renaissance tour. That's $580 million made on tour and $2.7 million made at the ticket office. But keep those calculators out. We haven't even gotten to the other third of her net worth, and that's the endorsements. She made $50 million with Pepsi in 2012 for a multi-year campaign. And the specific financial terms of each deal are private, but she made additional millions from major brands like American Express. And Amex users receive special perks like pre-sale access to her tours, like she did in 2016 with the Formation Tour, where she made $256 million, by the way. And then there are the additional endorsements, like with Nintendo DS, Giorgio Armani's perfume Diamonds, and hair and makeup partnerships with L'Oreal. She partnered with Tommy Hilfiger's fragrance True Star, where he used her likeliness for $250,000. Noticing the success, she decided to cut off the middleman, a common theme in her story, and launched her own perfume brand called Heat. Now, Heat made $750,000 in sales on its first day, and overall, with its many different versions, it has earned Beyonce a reportedly $40 million. After Heat, there was House of Darion, a ready-to-wear fashion brand partnered with her mother and then stylist Tina Knowles. The name comes from Beyonce's maternal grandmother, Agnes Darion. The brand launched in 2005, was out of date by 2009, and discontinued by 2012 for a number of reasons. The brand was estimated to have made her around $15 million. After her fashion attempt, the big screen used her in the voice in the Dreamgirls film that premiered in 2006. She made $12.5 million from her role. And similar to her history, she decided to cut the middleman after Dreamgirls premiered and created Parkwood Entertainment, a production mega house where she launched her own films, starting with Cadillac Records. I mean, that bombed at $8.8 million with a $12 million budget. However, the movie Obsessed, her next shot, grossed $73.8 million worldwide. She made over $100 million with Disney for Black is King. She also signed a roster of artists, most notably Halle and Chloe Bailey, who are locked into a crazy and insane 6-album $1 million deal where she makes 15%. There's a ton of controversy on that. And she also reportedly made $25 million for her role in the 2019 version of The Lion King. And who could forget Ivy Park? A 50-50 partnership with Topshop owner Sir Philip Green in 2016 in Beyoncé's Parkwood. After being accused of bullying his employees, belittling women, making derogatory comments about minorities, and then attempting to suppress news reports via an injunction, Beyoncé once again cut the middleman and cut ties with Topshop owner in October 2018 and announced partnership with Adidas in 2019. It was a power move. Buy out of one contract in the name of women empowerment and make more money. But Ivy Park wouldn't last. She discontinued the brand in 2023 after pocketing $20 million a year. And then there was the 22-day diet program created by Marco Borges. The plan is entirely plant-based, removing soy and gluten. The full 3-meal-a-day plan for 22 days costs you $609.84. Her profit is undisclosed. She, of course, promoted this for her Coachella rollout in her Ivy Park. The goal is for you to eat, dress, and be like Beyoncé, at the cost to you, of course, and benefit to her. She launched Say Noir perfume, and the exact revenue, again, is not disclosed yet, but it is priced at $160 per bottle. Beyoncé and Jay-Z were listed as Tiffany & Co.'s new faces, and she was the first black woman to wear the 128.5 carat Tiffany diamond. Tiffany & Co. said it would donate $2 million towards HBCUs, but since the initiative launched in 2021, I've been unable to find where that commitment was honored. And then there's Sacred, her hairline, equipped with hair kits and bundles of shampoos and detanglers and conditioners. She made $200 million in its first year, with some products selling every 16 seconds. And then Sir Davis, her most recent venture, a rye whiskey, joined with Moet Hennessy. Since its launch in 2024, the brand achieved $40 million in sales and is estimated to have a net worth of around $140 million. They say, as a little girl, your father is the first example you have of a man, what to expect, and for guidance. Mixing business with family is always a gamble, and in Beyoncé's case, she lost her father. She cut ties with him as her manager shortly after his divorce to her mother and his infidelity. There were rumors he had shady business practices behind the scenes, even stealing from her. Dealing with this and fame at a young age can run you straight into the arms of a man like Jay-Z. Jay-Z had a teenage Beyoncé in his music video and had been around since she was 16. They went public when she was 19 years old. Keep in mind, they have a 12-year gap. By the time they were public, Jay-Z had 5 albums. He had Rockefeller Records, which he co-founded with Biggs and Dame Dash. But kind of like he did with Aaliyah, he snatched that. He had Rockaware Clothing. He had Rock Films with movies like State Property 1 and State Property 2. And then he had a sneaker partnership with Reebok. At the age of 31, before Beyoncé even touched a solo tour, Jay-Z was worth $10 million. Once B came in the picture, he pumped fake rap retirement twice and had his eye on real estate in New York. He opened the 40/40 Club, and his influence, believe it or not, was first shown through the champagne Cristal. Jay-Z was a fan. mention it in his music and music videos. After its owners made what Jay-Z perceived as racist remarks about hip-hop's embrace of the brand, he called for a boycott in 2006. Many of the hip-hop community followed his lead, showing Jay-Z's power and respect in the industry. Noticing this, he purchased Ace of Spades in 2014 for about $25 to $30 million. In a separate deal, after promoting it all over, he sold 50% stake to LVMH in 2021, a deal estimated at about $630 million, with Jay-Z pocketing an estimated $315 million. This was a clapback at Cristal, and one way in many that Jay-Z will use his name and ties to black culture to grab future lucrative investments for himself. He became the face of the Barclays with an investment. He sold his stake for $1.5 million, which was part of a larger deal where he sold his stake in the Brooklyn Nets for a total of $2.5 million. By 35, he was worth $100 million. In just 4 years, he added $90 million to his resume. And you can't forget his ties to music without writing any verses, like Kanye West. And plus, he has percentages in all of his endeavors. J. Cole, and percentages in Dreamville in all of his endeavors. Plus, he signed Rihanna and Tierra Marie, with Rihanna having the most notable longevity, and his percentage in Fenty, plus all of those products. He's also known for his impressive investments in art, with an estimated value of about $200 million. Most notably his infatuation with Basquiat, whose pieces alone are priced to be anywhere between $13 to $100 million. By 40, his net worth was $450 million. This time adding $350 million to his net worth in 5 years. Then there's D'Ussé. He partnered with Bacardi and launched in 2012. After a resolved legal dispute where Jay-Z accused the brand of mismanaging operations and lowballing value, they bought 25% of his 50% stake and he walked away with a reported $750 million. He signed a 10-year, $200 million deal with Live Nation, signed a $5 million deal with Samsung in 2023, where he dropped 1 million copies of Magna Carta, and we got this legendary meme. He invested in JetSmarter, which is basically a Uber for like private jets, and his smartest investment was $2 million in an early Uber. The investment now sits at $70 million. And you can't forget Tidal, the music streaming service where he used all his artist friends to get us to sign up, claiming he would in return put money in their pocket. But instead, he sold it to Jack Dorsey for $302 million, and artists retained their shares while he joined Square, co-founded by Jack Dorsey, the largest business technology platform. With time, Jay-Z's greed for money and ownership began to overshadow his judgment. In 2016, Kaepernick began to kneel in protest of racial injustice and police brutality. NFL team owners labeled him a financial liability. He received both widespread praise and some people condemned him. Jay-Z at first supported Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick. You know, I mean, here's a guy, he is now, I think, an American hero, sticking up for civil rights, sticking up for police reform, sticking up for the First Amendment. He's a legend. He's going to go down with the Muhammad Ali's or whatever. But he lost his job. If you were his sports agent, Jay-Z is the sports agent for Colin Kaepernick. And before this all happened, he came to you and said, I want to do this. Would you have said, do it, don't do it? What would you have counseled the brother?
Oh, 100% do it.
Wow.
I mean, look how many people play football. They're not all going to be him. Like, you just put his name next to Muhammad Ali. Would you rather be playing football, getting your head dinged in, or would you rather be an iconic figure for the rest of your life? A job that could, I think people, again, we confuse the idea of having a job with fulfilling your purpose. Yeah.
You turned into church.
Everybody's like,
That was short-lived. In 2019, after Kaepernick filed a grievance with the NFL felt the heat, not just from fans, but also from players. And so they dangled $25 million in Jay-Z's face, and he signed a deal with the NFL, putting him in charge to produce the Super Bowl halftime show, advise on music, and social justice initiatives. He went against everything he said the year before and taunted Kaepernick.
I think everyone knows what the issue is, and we're done with that.
Look how the owner nods his head as if he didn't play a part in outing Kaepernick, further creating the racial injustice he swears he understands.
Everyone knows what you know what the issue is? You know why we were kneeling? Okay, do you know the issue? Yeah, do you know the issue? Yes?
They've always known the issue. They just didn't care to discuss it until Kaepernick brought attention to the issue.
How are we going to stop? Because the kneeling was not about a job. It was about injustice. Let me bring attention to injustice. Everyone's saying, how are you going forward? And Cap doesn't have a job. This wasn't about him having a job.
As long as Jay-Z has a job, it doesn't matter who doesn't have a job. Because remember, Jay-Z speaks for all black people, right? So since his partnership started, there have been no social justice initiatives. Jay-Z allowed himself to be used to ease the black community away from racism and the NFL's choice not to address it, instead of using his voice for the better good to possibly get America's largest money source to contribute and bring light to injustice and police brutality. He silenced us and added Rihanna and Beyoncé in our faces instead. How does that solve police brutality? As far as their properties, they purchased a $190 million 7-bedroom home in Malibu. In 2017, they picked up a $25.9 million East Hampton estate. In 2015, they picked up a $4.5 million church turned to mansion in New Orleans. And they also own an $8 million condo in Manhattan that Jay-Z purchased in 2004. Plus, in 2017, they dropped $88 million on their Bel Air home that they ended up refinancing this year. In present day, Jay-Z is 55 with a solo net worth of $2.5 billion, tripling his income in 15 years. Crazy when you think that half of their income comes from us alone. Lately, they've been partying with the Kardashians at the Bezos property, but they're no strangers to the Bezos. Jay-Z was having secret lunches with Jeff Bezos in hopes to partner with him to buy the NFL team, the Commanders. And they frequent on his yacht, enjoying the luxuries of the exploitative billionaire, because birds of a feather, right? They were recently spotted at the same table as Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. And before you say, they can't control where they sit, the event was hosted by Fanatics. And although Mark Rubin threw it, Jay-Z owns a stake in Fanatics. So it was also his event. Sitting next to a man who owns almost a third of New York in real estate and the president's daughter was not by chance, but by greed. Jay-Z's next venture is a casino in Times Square. In partnership with S.L. Green and Caesars, Jay-Z has refinanced his home and worked Beyoncé to the bone to enter his stake in the $5.4 billion gambling mayhem. He used everyone from Al Sharpton to Fat Joe to run around New York for good press, trying to pitch jobs for the community.
Trying to ensure that we continue to fortify the Times Square area and give folks what they desperately need, and that is financial relief during this time.
When you have black and brown ownership, then you're going to have a reflection of you. The true diverse New York City is going to be in the casino representing you and in the community.
But the community fought back. They know the truth. The wage for a casino worker is a drop in the bucket compared to the complete devastation that will follow with casinos. Jay-Z once again used his influence in hip-hop and quote-unquote culture as a means to why he should get the casino.
Thank you. As you can tell by Dez's accent, she's from the Bronx. I'm from Brooklyn. This is what New York really looks like. Obviously, I came up through sports and entertainment. Sports too. I built my career around entertainment and culture. And again, a homegrown talent from Brooklyn in the Bronx. And, you know, the things that he's built within New York. And then Times Square being the perfect place for it's a very good idea. Very good alignment for us to fulfill the promise of Times Square. And it goes beyond gaming for us. if you look at the work that we've done, even with the NFL and how we've presented culture to the NFL, there was never a hip hop artist to headline Super Bowl until we brought that to the forefront. And then I think we bought the NFL their first Emmy in the live sector, and I think we got 5 or 6.
We have 5, and we're just nominated for 4.
And within our stint, and we just beginning there as well. So, and also when we come into a space, it's, particularly like Broadway, we're not coming to compete with Broadway. We're coming to add. We coming to be additive. You know, anything that we've done in the past, we've always included the community. We've never excluded the community.
The issue with Jay-Z is he makes moves on behalf of Black people that either further harm our community while benefiting his pockets or feed into opportunistic stereotypes and betrayal of the very community he claims to be moving for. Be real. What does gambling do that is beneficial to neighborhoods, specifically Times Square? Gambling promotes addictions. It ruins lives. Why would he associate that with us in a room full of millionaires? Why not building affordable housing, homeless shelters, treatment centers, a casino? When the people called him a capitalist, this was his response.
You pull yourself out of bootstraps and you can make it in America. All these lies that America told us our whole life. And then when we start getting it, they try to lock us out of it. They start inventing words like, capitalists and, things like that. I mean, we've been called monkeys. I don't care. Those words y'all come up with, y'all got to come up with stronger words.
Gaslighting the community at its finest. What a horrible comparison. A capitalist is not a racial slur. A capitalist is the definition of an individual whose economy is based on private ownership and investment for profit, which is what Jay-Z and Beyoncé do. We all know this creates profits to flow to those who own and not to those who contribute to labor. The Carters want power and more of it. They embody a level of greed that we as the Black community would scold if it was any other race. For years, they have managed to pacify their fan base under the guise of Black success, hiding behind the community when they face any backlash on their business endeavors. Before you call me a hater, I have been to a few tours. I too have a few songs on my playlist, and I admire some of their investments. Before you call me a pocket watcher, I feel like we neglect our power. These two would not have half of their income if we didn't fund it. And thanks to the current state of America, we're all pocket watching. We're all watching our pockets. And then we're watching Beyoncé parade around in an American flag while innocent and hardworking individuals of color are being discriminated against, beaten, and taken away from their families against their will. It's egregious, tone deaf, and distasteful. Our support should not lie with people who go from I can't breathe to breathing just fine for a check, or shouting vote Kamala and Biden to us while they rub shoulders with MAGA just because they're Black or just because they're your faves. Why is helping the less fortunate the last thing on everyone's mind? The problem with the Carters is, no, they're not alone, but calling them out is a start.